I'd like to do a first impressions video of the Solo Wilder Keybond rocket stove that I just purchased off of Amazon. I actually purchased it about 10 days ago and it finally got here today via UPS. Wanted to go over the overall thoughts, what I like, what I not necessarily dislike, but I think could be improved, and then give my final thoughts. So this is made out of stainless. It's about 30 pounds. It's about 9.5 inches wide, and each one of these plates is 9 inches. So you got a surface area of about 18 inches by 9.5 inches deep. It's got double leg construction. The screws here are actually screws and lock nuts, nylock nuts. So they're not like rivets or anything, so that's going to last long. There's also nuts and bolts up underneath here. This hinges up and then up underneath so that when these legs are all folded up, it sits flat on the ground. Everything is designed to be able to stow inside the stove. You can unscrew these little thumb knobs and take this and put it over the top of this, and these will slide into those grooves and then tighten them down for storage. These hinge clips right here, those are nice. There's one on each corner, and this whole lid pops off, and everything you see is either put into the oven box or up into the burner section. That's very well constructed. Overall, the fit and finish is very nice. One of the things they did is, and it's hard to see, but that's supposed to say high temperature, so they kind of got their spelling wrong on that. The way that this works is it's a pellet type gravity fed system. So you take the lid off here, fill this up with pellets. They come down into this pellet box. You slide the door open, take your torch, get it lit. Then you can slide the door back over and you can adjust the damper however you need for the intensity of the flame. It's got nice carry handles on it. It's got an oven box with a thermometer on it that tells you the temperature inside the oven. This piece right here is so that you don't have to touch any part of the stove with your bare hand. Slide it into the groove and open the door. It's got little door locks, so you also use this tool to be able to lock and unlock these little hinge points. Get them out of the way, slide this in, and then be able to pull the drawer out. When you pull it out, it comes all the way out. It rides on that little L channel right in there. When you first put it in there and make sure you get it underneath those screws. When you just have it on the first one, you're going to get quite a bit of a tip, and I don't think that that's very safe. They probably should have put a C channel in there through this section right here. Once you get it past that second nut in there, now you've got a little bit of leverage if you just wanted to open it up and peek inside. But I'd be very careful when you pull this out. Either pull it all the way out or don't let go of it, because if you get it to here and it gets a little crazy on you, it could fall, and if you go grabbing it with your hand, or if it falls on the bottom of your tent, you could have some serious problems. So be very careful with that. It fits together very nicely. The only thing I don't really care for is how this goes in. I think they should have taken this and put it on one side or the other. Maybe that would have not given a right temperature, or maybe put this offset, or put it below this and put this above, because you can see how that binds up right there, and it makes it kind of a pain to get it in and out. It's not too bad, but it could be better. And then you take this and then latch it back down so that the door is secure and not coming open. I like the graphics on the side here, the window. I like this perforated plate. So let's say you're going to boil some water or cook, make some coffee or something, and once you get your water boiling and you made your coffee and you want a place to put your stuff so that it stays warm, but it's off the fire, then you have that. This is very one of the things that I'm not a big fan on, these thumb screws need to be bigger so that you can grab a hold of them. You want to make sure that that is secured on there, and the way this works is just out of leverage. So you unscrew those, all four of those, just a bit, loosen them up, and then this plate comes off. If you wanted to, you can set it back here on top and then slide it back onto here and lock it into place like that, and for transport. The big problem I can see is if you don't get these in properly. Sorry, the weeds are in there. And then you don't get these cinched down the way that they should be, you know, and this can get unstable. And if you've got a hot pot of water or soup or something that's resting on that, there's a possibility that it could come out. So you want to make sure that those are screwed on. Once this thing gets hot, you're not going to be touching those. So make sure that you get that screwed on before you fire this up, and that this plate is secure. It's got, I'm assuming this would be some place to maybe hang stuff. You could hang that right there. You can grab this, and this is a hook to be able to, a tool. You can slide that door open, get up underneath there and get your ash and scoop your ash out. It's also a way to be able to grab it with this hook and shut the door, slide the door open and close, and then operate the damper without having to touch that sliding door. The hopper, this comes in, everything breaks down flat, these four pieces plus the lid. The way the lid works, it's got perforated holes for air to come into. It fits up on top of here kind of via pressure. These side panels kind of bow out just a little bit, so you just got to stick it on here, squeeze it, and then it'll pop right on. And then squeeze it and it comes right off. This piece right here was it's kind of a pain. This slides in. That's not the pain part. That works just fine right like that. It was a pain just kind of getting this together. You can see how that bows out a little bit. So it's held in there with tension. Not a big deal. Once you figure it out, it goes together pretty easily. But you spend a few minutes. There is no instructions, so you spend a few minutes trying to look at it, because you don't want to bend this stuff, and you can see how that's just kind of popping out like that. So it's held together via tension. So you need to make sure that you got it together properly. If you don't want to use that hopper, you still have, or you wanted to just use sticks through there, you could probably do that as well. And you've got a door that closes over. This piece right here is very well made. It's heavy gauge. It's heavier gauge than the other piece is, and it comes off. And then the pellet, the burner port, just slides in and rests with these flanges on that part right there. If you'll notice, again, there's no instructions. Not quite sure. I'm assuming it goes one direction. It doesn't go that way. You want the air to flow this way. But if you'll notice, it's just a little bit different. And so I'm assuming that the airflow is going to go from right to left. So that would probably most logically be the way that this sits in there, so that the pellets roll into that corner. And so you could probably take this out if you wanted to burn just regular sticks in there. You could do that. You could put this back on here, shut that, and you could put in small logs if you wanted to just have a traditional fire. Or you could probably open this, drop sticks down there, and have a rocket stove via sticks. If you ran out of pellets, you could probably do that as well. So there are options, which makes it really nice. Moving on to the flue pipe. Individually, these pieces are very flimsy. So you have to be very careful. It fits together nice and secure, one over the top, and you can see the overlap, but it doesn't give you very many pieces. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces with a smoke spark arrestor at the top, and guy clips up there as well. I like that portion, but if you have a tall tent, you may need to purchase more of those pieces. That's a standard size for these types of stoves. I think it's 2 3/4 or something like that. But you might want to get extras so that you make sure that the height of that goes above the highest peak of your tent, so you don't have a problem with sparks burning your tent up. I would also get additional pieces, just because if, as you're messing with it, somebody comes in and steps on it, you roll on it, whatever, they will crush very easily. And then once it's deformed, it's not going to operate properly, and you're not going to get a good seal. So that's one of my biggest gripes. I think if I had to redesign this, what I would do is I would build off of this piece right here and move this over so that the hopper and everything was right here on the outside, and then you would have an ash can underneath to be able to catch it. Right now, if you look at it, the way this thing is set up, when you put this in here, there's not a whole lot of room up underneath here for those ash, for the ash to fall. And so you do have this little tool to be able to reach under there to clean that stuff out, but it can build up, and once it starts building up, I'm thinking it'll probably build up into there as well and start to snuff it out. So I would like to have seen them build this out for 2 reasons. One, it would allow an ash pan to be located up underneath and out to the side. The other is it would have increased the cooking surface up here as well. Then on here, instead of it just coming straight out, they could have put an elbow. This door doesn't really need to slide back and forth. You could be sufficient with that, just sticking your torch in there and lighting it. You don't really need this sliding door unless you wanted to put in traditional logs. I'm assuming that's what that's for. Otherwise, putting an elbow and securing it off to the side and running your flue up off to the side, that would increase the whole surface area of the stove all the way across. Other than that, the fit and finish is nice. It's well made. It's heavy. All the pieces fit together nicely. Don't really have any complaints other than just the minor stuff. But first impressions, I like it. The cost on it was a little over $200. I had actually looked for a different model from Solo Wilder's website called the Red Tail, but it's out of stock. I also looked for it on several other websites, and it was all out of stock. It was listed at $389. This one was about $200. I think the other one, the Red Tail, would perform a little bit better than this one, but when they didn't have that in stock, they offered me a different one that was like $189. It was like the cheapest one on Amazon, and I just was like not a fan of it. Instead of using this tool to open it up, it had knobs on there, and those knobs are made out of brass or something, and I can only imagine how hot that would get, the transfer of heat. Even with gloves on, you're going to be burning yourself. So the way that this is designed, you never have to touch anything with your bare hands. You use that tool to be able to open the latches, pull the door out, slide the things across, get the ashes out. So you're never touching the stove once it gets hot with your hands. So you really shouldn't be too concerned with burning yourself. All the parts fit together well. Seems like it's well made, and for $200, I think it's a good purchase. Next video I put out will be the burn-in on it to see how it actually functions, and I'll post that as well. Hope you like this video. Hope you got something out of it. Again, this is the Solo Wilder rocket stove. It's available on Amazon for I think $200, $225, something like that. If you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe. Thanks so much. Have a good night.